This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There he is. Any truth, George? You also signed a one-year contract with the Panthers.
I got a 1-year, two-way deal, yes.
Okay,
So.
all right. Is this a record for one-year deals that you've been covering in a Panthers offseason?
Hey, back in the day, that's all the Panthers could get players to sign here for. So, yeah, I mean, listen, we talked about it last week. This team didn't have any money into the cap. We talked on Tuesday. It didn't look like they were going to buy out Patrick Hornquist, and they have not done that. And they still could. There's a second, but I don't think they will. But something's got to happen because they're over the salary cap now, even with Anthony Duclair's money being subtracted, and that's a temporary move. Right. They're going to have to do something, but, it is what it is.
So talk to us. What should Panther fans be impressed with this offseason? What additions do you think are going to be real difference makers for this team? Because right now, the way it looks, you've taken a couple of steps back, and I don't know how you get back to where you were unless there's a whole bunch of Anthony Duclairs in this one-year deals here.
And that's what you're hoping for, right? An Anthony Duclair situation, a hungry player who was disappointed that he was let go by Ottawa. Colin White,
Chris Hayes, Duclair. What's the other guys that they've brought in over the last couple of years?
Oh, Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett's one of those guys that got a fresh start here and really rebounded from that. Carter Verhaeghe was in a different situation.
Riley, who just re-signed with the Vegas, right? Riley
Smith,
on a one-year deal, and then he kind of made a name for himself. So
absolutely,
it's happened. If you really look back the last 5 or 6 years, that's happened to them a lot, that they've picked up these guys on one-year deals, and then you're like, holy shit, this guy's, what was the name of the guy they got?
Vetrano was one of those.
And the guy they picked up from Tampa a couple years back.
Carter Verhaeghe.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. But he was a different situation because he was a young guy that just couldn't crack that lineup, right? So Carter Verhaeghe in Tampa Bay just couldn't find playing time. Florida gave him a one-year deal to make something of himself here, and boom, you put him on the top line with Sasha Barkov, and look at him now. But listen, give
me hope. Give me hope. Tell me there's a guy or two here that you think could be like some of those guys of the past.
Well, they're hoping Colin White is one of those guys. This is a guy that was a first-round pick in Ottawa, signs a 5-year contract extension, played through some injuries. Florida's hoping he could be a top 6 guy. And when healthy, he looks like a guy that can give you a lot of depth move. He's under team control. You got him for $1.1 million very cheaply. This looks like one of those the ceiling, high ceiling signing for $1 million. And because the Florida Panthers are the Florida Panthers right now, players like that want to come here. When those players became free agents, they said, oh, Florida's on the phone? Yeah, I'll go there, because you look at their recent track record. You look at the players you're going to get to play with. Even Nick Cousins, he's a third, fourth line guy, signs a 2-year deal from Nashville. But you see what Ryan Lombard has done with Florida, playing on that fourth line. Ryan Lombard, nobody ever heard of Ryan Lombard, and now he's a fan favorite here. And Nick Cousins can be a fan favorite kind of guy. You talk about a guy with some attitude and some, that old sandpaper, plays tough, but he can score. He's going to give you some depth on the third and fourth line. I like that signing. And the one that nobody, outside of the math folks talk about is Rudy Volcares, the guy that they got from the San Jose Sharks. He was bought out by the Sharks, and he's a guy that's kind of, got a lot of potential. Some of these guys, I think, are going to come to training camp with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder because they thought that they had futures with the franchises, and they all went in a different direction. Now they're coming to Florida surrounded by good coaching, surrounded by good players, surrounded by a good organization, and playing for the common good and not playing for running out the streak. That was the thing with Colin White. That was the thing with Rudy Volcares. They played on some crummy teams in San Jose and Ottawa. And now you're in Florida. You know, you're going to try and earn your way and keep this team at a high level.
George, so what happens with the Huberdeau move? Because you know he needs a new contract.
Yeah.
He's a year away. So it looks like they don't have any money to do that contract right now.
No, not true. Not true.
Oh,
They're fine. No, because Huberdeau's got 1 year left on his contract. He's at $5.9 million this year.
No, but my point.
He's getting an extension, but he'll get his extension. That'll get done. Yeah.
That's my point. They can't talk about that now. It'll have to be next year, is what it sounds like.
No. They can sign it. No, they can sign it at any point because it doesn't kick in.
But
no,
they can agree with it, but it won't be it won't be on top of the money that's now. It's just an extension, so it doesn't kick in until 2 years.
Same idea as Sasha Barkov. Sasha Barkov signs his contract last year, that 8-year deal, for $10 million per season. He signs that before the opening night. He still played on last year's contract. Like that's why last year was such a big year for the Panthers, because you had Sasha Barkov at $5.9 million. You had Huberdeau at $5.9 million. You still had some cap flexibility because those guys were still on their team-friendly deals. Wow. This year, you've got Mackenzie Weegar on a team-friendly deal, probably for the last year. Mackenzie Weegar is probably going to want $7.5 million a year. I don't think the Panthers can sign that. And as I've told you, I think Florida's going to say, we're going to sign one of them long-term. The thought is it's going to be Jonathan Huberdeau.
Yeah.
Mackenzie Weegar, you've earned this. You've earned the right to go make some big bucks. But you're not going to trade him. You're going to rent him yourself because you can't get anybody as good as Mackenzie Weegar for $3.5 million. So you keep him. You let him walk at the end. You say, thanks, bud. We appreciate you. And you hope that he helps you win a Stanley Cup.
If things aren't going well, then he's a trade chip.
Let's say the Panthers. Right? Let's say the Panthers hit the skids and are out of the playoffs. Which this is not. No, this team is still playing for the Stanley Cup.
It should be a playoff team. Yeah.
But let's say they've got 8 injuries and they're playing the minor league team and they're 15 points out of a playoff spot. Yes, at the trade deadline, then you trade Mackenzie Weegar because he's not doing any good. He's not going to help you win the Stanley Cup. You might as well get a couple draft picks for him.
All right. One of the complaints I had about this team was that it was too soft, and to Bill Zito's credit, since he took over, he made them tougher.
Sure,
but he's still not at that point yet. So the additions, is that leading them to guys that are going to help them sacrifice a little bit more in blocking pucks and doing all the dirty work stuff that they need? Because it's kind of, we always talk here about Edge energy drink. That's kind of what the Panthers were missing. That one edge, that physical, that edge, and the dirty plays and all that. They had the offense down pat. Their offense is freaking amazing. Yeah. But it's that defensive side of it. Do you see the players that they added will help in those areas?
Yeah, I think because the Panthers couldn't go out and be big players on the free agent market. And in fact, they really haven't been since Bill Zito took over. If you remember his first year, his signings were like Radko Gudas and Carter Verhaeghe and Anthony Duclair, guys that came in fairly affordable guys. Last year, it was all about keeping your guys, right?
Right.
This year, he didn't have the money, and he went after tough guys that have upside. You're looking at Nick Cousins. You're looking at Mark Stahl, a defensive defenseman. You might put him with Radko Gudas on your bottom pairing. Listen, your top 2 lines are the offensive guys. That's going to be Barkov, and that's going to be Huberdeau, and those guys are going to be there to score. But you look at the third line. The third line's going to be able to score because you got Anton Lundell. You're going to have whoever else plays with him. Then your fourth line is going to be pretty darn tough because even if Patrick Hornquist isn't here, which I don't know how you can still keep Patrick Hornquist at $5.3 million when you're $3 million over the cap. Even if he's not here, you're still going to have some big time hard hitting guys, and then we'll see where it goes.
All right, when you look at this team, right, for next year, okay, we talk about no cap space, But now you're telling me, obviously, with Huberdeau and Uyghur are contracts you're going to have to give up, but Uyghur may not be one of those. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself now. Next year, are they going to have cap space, or does it seem like it will be another tight year because of the Huberdeau move and all the other stuff that's coming down the line?
Well, one reason why the Panthers have cap problems this year is that they've got a 5.2 million, something like that, 5.5 million cap reduction from buying out Keith Yandel last year. That goes back to $1 million. So you're getting $4 million back on the cap. The NHL's hoping to raise the salary cap by at least $1 million, perhaps $2 million. So that gets you $6 million in cap that you don't have this year. Now, Jonathan Huberdeau is going to suck up a big chunk of that, right? I mean, because he's going to go from $5.96 million, basically, closer to 10. Just like this year, 4 more, Sasha Barkov's getting a $4 million raise. Carter Verhaeghe is getting a $3 million raise. So, and then you've got the Keith Yandel thing. So next year, it loosens up a little, but the Florida Panthers are right now the kind of team that are going to be up against the cap because now you're paying guys big time money. They're getting into Tampa Bay territory. They're getting into Vegas Golden Knight territory because if you're going to keep your players, you're going to have to pay your players. And there's just not enough cap space to do it for everybody. So Florida should have cap relief next year, but they won't be out of the woods. They won't be the Buffalo Sabres, who are $25 million over the cap. And if you're a Florida Panther fan, I don't think you ever want to see those days again because that means your team stinks.
Yeah, they're not good. But they're not a good team. Exactly. So
right.
It's not. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
The teams that have all the salary cap space in the world stink.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Except for Colorado. Colorado's done it pretty well, but yeah.
So is the Bob contract?
Not for another 2 years, but I know where you're going. It's unmovable for 2 years.
Right, and that's really the thing that's kind of also bogging them down too, right?
It is and it isn't. I mean, because you're looking at if you look at it, the Panthers are basically spending $11 million in goaltending. $10 million's going to Bob, and $1 million's going to the kid Spencer Knight, and that's still a lot. You're still spending $11 million in goalies. That's still a lot. But even if you got rid of it, let's say you want to trade Bob and you're able to do it, you're going to have to keep money, right? You're going to have to retain out of that $10 million. Let's go to the low side and say 40%. That's $4 million. Who are you going to get to back up Spencer Knight for $4 million a year?
Right.
I don't know. So, so anyway, Sergei Bobrovsky's contract, as I told you last week or 2 weeks ago, it was a 7-year deal, but it was really a 5-year deal. After year 5, the no trade goes away. A lot of the real money goes away. A lot of the signing bonus goes away. If you want to buy him out, you can buy him out after year 5. You can't now. You can't next year because the cap hit's too huge. You can't trade him right now unless he approves it. In 2 years, you can. So I think the Panthers are like, hey, by then, Spencer Knight's going to be 22, 23 years old. I think we can live with this. You've got, especially with Bob playing the way he did last year. He was the best guy in the playoffs for the Panthers, except for, Carter Verhaeghe in round 1.
Right, Verhaeghe was he was a superstar.
He was a monster. And how quickly that got forgotten, right? I mean, I was watching one of those games the other day. I was like, I forgot how good Carter Verhaeghe was in round 1 because of how bad they played.
He was our superstar in that one.
Mm-hmm.
He was.
He showed up, boy.
I mean, listen. But Barkov and Huberdeau did never perform like that in the playoffs. Like that. What that guy
Huberdeau had a bad. Yeah, Huberdeau had a bad round 2. He had a bad round 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Barkov. I was watching.
Was all right.
Watching the Barkov was, but he wasn't great. He looked hurt, and I asked him, "Were you hurt?" I mean, because he was getting knocked off the puck. Anyway, that's a story for another day. He'll tell me eventually, but it was one of those you could tell Barkov was not himself.
Damn, dude. Damn, and he's so good.
Yeah, it sucks because lost opportunities. These opportunities do not come very often in the National Hockey League.
Amen. Hell, man. Last time they were in the finals,
that window is closing.
Yeah, last time our Cats made it to the finals was 96. So yeah, those opportunities Don't come often, brother. No doubt about it. All right. Follow him on Twitter at George Richards. And, of course, Florida Hockey Now. Subscribe like I do and many others. What are you working on Florida Hockey Now?
Well, we've got a bunch of stuff coming this week. Obviously, it's slow with free agency. Last week we had, seriously, Big O, 50 stories online last week.
I saw it.
It was, I mean, it was a lot of stuff. So this week we've kind of pared it down a little bit. But we're talking to Mark Stahl today. He's the defenseman that's coming in. He played, all those years. He's an NHL veteran guy. Comes in at $750,000 for a guy that's a 16-year NHL veteran. He's hungry to help this team after the last year in Montreal. So we're working on that. We've got some more lineup stuff. If you want to check out FloridaHockeyNow.com and look and see what the Panthers lineup will look like on opening night or may look like, that's online there too. So it's been a great month for us, Big O. Thank you for your help and your support. This has been one of our biggest months of all time. So we appreciate it, bud.
We're there for you, brother, as always. And that's what this platform's about, man. This platform's for the South Florida sports fan all over the world. And
I wore this for you today, buddy.
There we go. With the real logo, too. With the
Jimmy
real
Johnson
logo.
That's
right.
Not
that crappy ass whale that they've got going on now. God, what a terrible logo. I can't wait for Tom Garfinkel to change that damn logo back to that logo there. Put your own spin on it like they did in the 90s. That's fine with me, but please bring back the logo. God. Give us our logo. Yeah. Gotta have the helmet. Yes, please. Bring back our logo. George, much love. We will catch up next week, my friend. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother, man. Appreciate you.
You got it. A. Lenny Locksmith. You get locked out of your home. You get locked out of your car. You call alennylocksmith.com. Right there, 855. They are always there to help you out, man. 855-869-5625. That's 855-869-5625. You get locked out of your home. You get locked out of your car. You need to program those car keys. They do it all. And I don't care if you live in Miami or all the way up in Port St. Lucie, baby. You call the folks at alennylocksmith.com, Tampa and Orlando offices, and even in Phoenix. And I know we got some Arizona watchers out there and listeners. Go visit A. Lenny Locksmith. That's your lockdown segment.